Hello, hello, hello. This is looking good with Nate. So today I'm gonna be reviewing Justice League Dark, the animated feature, Legion, the FX TV show, and Logan. So yeah, it's gonna be a little superhero shame bang, shame bang, bang, bang. I don't know what that means, but I'm cool with it. So yeah, we'll open this up with talking about Justice League Dark. Great, farly exceeded expectations, to be honest. Really blew my mind. When I was watching that, I couldn't believe what I was watching. I mean, it was a DC movie that looked like it was straight out of the comic books, man. Like, this is the stuff I saw in that feature was the kind of stuff that I would expect to see in a Justice League comic book, or a Justice League Dark comic book, or even a Batman comic book, or really any comic book. Because they get kind of dark. Stuff gets dark. And just because it gets dark for a little bit doesn't mean it has to be dark the whole time. This movie was pretty dark. But I mean, there was levity woven throughout it. And it was great. It was a great balance. There was a lot of little, one-liners, as there should be in a comic book movie. But I mean, they weren't, and not all of them were good, which kind of sucked, because some of them were pretty bad. But I mean, a lot of it, like throughout it, there is a lot of comedy that comes from Batman, who isn't necessarily shooting off one-liners, but situationally, what he says is funny. For example, I mean, throughout this feature, a movie, I guess, I don't know why I keep calling it a feature, throughout this animated movie, Batman isn't necessarily a believer in magic. He's one of those rationalizers who, which is, normal in real life, and I mean, in comic books, when you're seeing the kind of stuff like they're seeing, you kind of expect everyone to be a believer in magic, but he's not. And I mean, so what will happen is some crazy like monsters will come out of nowhere, and and then they'll do some katana, not katana, Zatanna. There we go. And Constantine will just do some magic stuff and fix it, and then Batman will be like, huh, like that was interesting. I promise you, the delivery is much better than what I just did. I promise. I promise you, Jason O'Mara is great. He's a great Batman. I never thought there would be someone who could. I still don't think he's better than Kevin Conroy, but he can stand toe to toe right behind him. He's a solid Batman, solid animated voice. Really happy that they're sticking with him throughout their little animated universe. But anyways, so I guess we'll start at the beginning. So it starts with these normal everyday people getting possessed, which is creepy when it happens. Excuse me. And they're getting possessed and they're seeing demons instead of people. So not necessarily seeing demons walking among us. They see an average granny and they think it's a hulking, crazy demon. And that's kind of what's going on. And so what's happening is when the first person you see do this is a woman in Washington, D.C., and she's driving, and then all of a sudden, monsters are everywhere. And she goes crazy, and she starts running everybody over. And then Wonder Woman comes and is like, what are you doing? And she's like, she sees Wonder Woman as who she is. And she's like, Wonder Woman, save me, save me. These demons are everywhere. And then Wonder Woman says, the only demon I see here is you. And honestly, that wasn't like a laughing moment, but it was well delivered, that line. Way better than what I did, like I said. That's why they get paid, and I'm recording on my phone right now. They pay him back to the people who got run over. And it's pretty dark. I mean, you got people like, my leg, but seriously. But it gets darker really quick. Like, I forgot that this was an R-rated movie when I started watching it, but it earns that way more than I'd say Logan earns its R rating, but we'll talk about that later. But when Superman, because like I said, this is happening all over the country. These select people getting possessed, and what happens in Metropolis is this man is in his house, and he's about to shoot his wife and kid who are on the floor, and he's like, "Where is my family? What have you done with my family?" Excuse me. Where are they? Obviously, they're right there in front of him. But he sees this glob monster. It's really creepy. Because when they show you what he's seeing, like, it's like saying, I am your wife. And they do a really creepy with the voice modulation. And it's really really cool. But Superman comes in, saves the day, or so you think, and breaks the shotgun in half over his knee or something. It's typical Superman stuff. And it was like, no one's getting killed tonight. Typical Superman line. But I mean, I'm nodding it off, and the performance is great. He's the person who plays Superman. I don't remember his name right now, but he's a great Superman. Definitely stands right up there with Tim Daly. So yeah. Anyways, Superman breaks the gun, and then he like the woman in the car sees Superman for who he is, and it's like, Superman, you gotta help me. There are demons everywhere, just like the neighbors. They're everywhere. And Superman's like, what neighbors? And so then the man takes Superman out to his shed or whatever. And in the shed, oh my goodness. Oh, when I saw this, it was like a little, just like, yes. I can't believe I'm seeing this, but I love it. It's disgusting, but I love it. And so he opens the shed, and in there are bodies, just dead bodies. And blood, everywhere. There's some, it looks like a butcher shed. There are bodies hanging on meat hooks. There are bodies under tarps. There we go, that's the word. I was going to say totes, but that's not the right word. Under tarps, and, there are bodies under tarps, blood everywhere. It's dark, it's not gratuitous, but it gets the point across, and it's, I could not believe I was watching a DC animated movie. It was breathtaking, to be honest. It was really great. So then, Justice League meets. They're like, yo, we gotta fix this. These people are not the people to blame, obviously. They can see that, which is good, which is good. I'm glad they didn't take it a different way, and they started, they're part of, assuming that these citizens were a part of, like, a cult or something, because that would have been stupid. I hate it when people make stupid decisions in movies. That's everyone. Anyway, so yeah, Justice League meets up. This is where they throw in the Martian Manhunter and Jon Stewart as Green Lantern. That's where they introduce them. They don't do any background or anything. They're just there. You're just in the moment. Justice League is meeting, and they're there. They're talking. And that's great. That's great. I don't need a whole backstory for all my superheroes, because I know who they are, and the majority of people who are watching these know who they are. And if they're kids watching them, they don't need a backstory. They're not going to pay attention to that. They don't care. They just want to see people blow stuff up, and then they'll pick their favorite superheroes from that, not on their backstory. At least not at that age. Not that backstories aren't important, but I'm just about backstoryed out, I swear to God. Anyways, so then, they're talking. This is where it's introduced that Batman's a skeptic of magic, and they, stuff like that, some small talk. That cuts away to Bruce Wayne, now in his shower in his home, and he comes out of the shower, and then Constantine is written on the mirror in the steam, with the condensation. Someone wrote out the name Constantine. And then after that, Bruce goes into his room, and then Constantine is written in blood all over his room. And in saying that, this movie is a great genre bender. There were some awesome moments. With the possessions, with that moment, with that scene I just described, and other scenes out throughout it. Man, this was almost like a horror film. It was like a horror film with superheroes. And it was great, because their superpowers were, like, awesome, but they weren't the key to it. They weren't the main point. The point was, it's still a superhero film, so no, when I say that totally discredits what I'm just saying, but it was a great genre bender. It was a great genre bender. You didn't get the sense that this was a superhero movie. You got the sense that there were superheroes in the movie. There. That was great. Forget what I said before. That's what I meant to say. So yeah, it's great. Great action scenes. There's a great action scene between Swamp Thing and the main villain, Dr. Destiny, or Destiny as he's called in this. It's not told that this is like Dr. Destiny, but that's who it is. The character's name is Destiny, and they make a point to point out the fact that he can enter people's dreams and, make them think crazy stuff, and it was Dr. Destiny. They just made him a badass. They did do the villain's backstory a little bit, as you should, just if you're going to do an unknown villain, like, that's kind of important. And what they do is they throw it back to the times of Merlin, and they also do Etrigan's backstory then, which is warranted because not everyone's going to know the Demon and Jason Blood. They're not going to know that storyline, so that's fine. I wasn't upset about that. Just clarifying that for what I said earlier. And what the backstory is this Destiny is basically like a sorcerer, an evil magical sorcerer. Back in the time of Merlin, and to defeat him, Merlin enlists the help of Etrigan to fight to kill Destiny. Before that happens, though, Jason Blood, who was a knight back then, Knight of Camelot or whatever, attempted to fight Destiny and lost. And oh my God, he got stabbed right through the chest. Blood, great art, great DCR rated movie, great. But then Merlin binds. They do the whole story where Merlin binds them together, and that's how you get your Jason Blood and the demon Etrigan. So yeah, that was cool. And oh my God, throughout this they have Etrigan rhyming, which is I always find super impressive for a writer to be able to do that. It didn't get cheesy. In the comic books, it gets cheesy sometimes, just because it's hard to rhyme literally every sentence. It's really hard to do that. So I give the writers great credit in this movie because it didn't sound cheesy at all when he was rhyming. They even almost Etrigan freaking called someone a whore. I don't remember exactly who it was or when it was. It was either Batman or Constantine, and he did a great rhyme, and it ended with whore, and it was great. Again, something I never thought I'd see in a DC animated movie. But anyways, so yeah, back to what I was saying. There's this awesome battle between Swamp Thing, which is great, great Swamp Thing. It was great. That battle takes place in Gotham, and he's flying, but stretching and weaving throughout the sky, fighting Destiny. Oh my God, that action scene was another moment where ooh, yes, please more. Oh yeah, bye Poppy. Oh, so good. Whoa. Ooh. Don't know where that went, but so yeah, Justice League Dark. It's a great flick. This one, do not show with your kids if you don't like them seeing blood and pretty gruesome stuff. But there's not a lot of swearing. There's a little bit of swearing, but there's not a lot of swearing, which is good. It was, yeah. So overall, if I'm gonna rate it, I'll give it a 7. Yeah, man, I'll give it a 7. It was a solid film. It was great. It will be great. Obviously, this wasn't the groundbreaking film that made R ratings possible was Deadpool. And that's when DC jumped on the bandwagon. That's when DC jumped on the bandwagon, They tried to make Batman v Superman R, and they also greenlit The Killing Joke for it to be R, and then they greenlit this to be R. And it's paid off, Not that all superhero movies need to be R to be good, because they don't. But some characters do warrant that just by the nature of what they do. Wolverine is someone who cuts people and stabs them. There's going to be blood, and he swears a lot, so that needs to be R by our current MPAA ratings. Justice League Dark, gruesome hell stuff, just occult stuff that, sometimes needs to be R. If you're going to throw demons into the mix, sometimes they eat people, and, that has to be R. So yeah, I give it a 7. It was a good movie. Solid RDC movie. Great, solid. I was amazed just watching it the whole time. There were some cheesy jokes, and the story isn't anything astounding, like a work of art, but it was just a solid film, and it's great to see solid superhero movies. It was good to watch. So now we're going to Legion. Legion's a great TV show on FX. You should hit it up if you haven't already. Don't watch the new episode next Wednesday, because the season's the season. I think there's only 8 episodes, and we just had the 6th last night. And there's stuff you gotta watch. There's spoilers in it, so I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'll probably do a more thorough review later. But just throwing it out in there. It's a great TV show, great cast. The director is Scott Stewart. Never heard of him before, I don't think, but he does a great job. What Legion is about, for those of you who don't know, Legion's about David. I forget his last name, but he's played by Dan Stevens, right? Yeah, Dan Stevens. And he plays Legion. And Legion is, well, in the comic books, he's Professor Xavier's son. Yeah, Professor Xavier, Professor X, that Professor Xavier. He's his son. Yeah, he has a son. No way, right? But yeah, he's his son, arguably the most powerful mutant ever. His power is he can change reality, he can telekinesis, he can read people's minds. Just crazy. So in the comic books, he can do time travel and stuff. And I think they might be working with that too. I think they might throw that in there here in this next episode. But I'm not going to spoil anything. Yeah, so how it starts out, I'll tell you a little bit about the first episode. It starts off in the TV show now. They're playing Legion as he's been told he's schizophrenic. Because, I mean, like Professor X, how they kind of hinted in the earlier X-Men movies, is that, you know, he thought he was insane when he was hearing all these voices until he figured out that it was everyone else's voices. Well, David never had that thought himself. This takes place out of the X-Men continuity, the FX X-Men continuity. So, well, at least that's what they're saying so far. I think they might change. I think they were just waiting to see how it does, and they might change that. But for now, it's outside of continuity. And he's, like I said, he's schizophrenic. He's in a mental ward. He's been there for a little bit, not too long. Not too long. And oh God, it's so hard to talk about this without spoiling. So I guess I'll just end that saying that great cast. You know, we got Bill Irwin, Amber Midthunder, Jerome Harris. Great, just a great, and there's more. And Aubrey Plaza, she's a dream in this. She's a dream in the show. The last episode, episode 6, the one that was yesterday, was really slow. But even when this TV show's slow, it still has a way to grab your attention. Even when the story's like slow because they're telling you crap, they really do a great job of keeping you engaged. Like, oh my God, there was just a dance scene. They throw music in here so well. But like I was saying, there's a dance scene in this last episode where Aubrey Plaza is just dancing to an EDM version of Feel Good. And that's the whole scene. Like, it's like a couple minutes long, and it's great. Oh my God, it's great. But okay, yep. Great show. Check it out. And I'll do a more thorough review on that later. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Logan. If you haven't been able to tell, I'm not the super biggest Logan fan. It didn't float my boat that much. I mean, I'm not sinking. It's all like about 6 o'clock, but it didn't do what I wanted it to do. It seemed like it's a great story about family, and that's great. That's great. You could literally take all the superhero powers out of this movie and just have it be about family, and it would be great. It would be a great movie. James Mangold, as he said in interviews throughout, he hasn't said this, but he said what's important to him is not like the big moments, like the big the big popcorn moments isn't what he's in it for. What he's in it for is the intimate moments. And like he did in Wolverine, like he did in 3:10 to Yuma, the remake, he's the king of this. Oh my goodness. I almost cried. I didn't cry, which is, I do cry at movies. Not to say I don't, but this one didn't make it happen. So, not that says a lot. You can still have touching moments and not have me cry, but I feel like I should have cried at the end of this movie, and yet I didn't. We'll talk about what I liked about it first. Daphne Keane is amazing. Oh my goodness. This girl is a tour de force. I mean, she barely talks for the entire movie. Like, for the first half of the movie, she doesn't talk. And she's better than a lot of adults who do talk for the whole movie. Like, not in this movie in particular, but I mean, in general. She is an amazing actress. And if she is able to keep getting roles and keep acting throughout her life, she's going to be a great actress when she's older. I mean, just her facial expressions, her body language, just truly, she doesn't have to say anything to say anything. And that's great. She's a great actress. Not just they totally could have gotten away with this movie being an okay movie with a worse X-23. One, I'm happy that they didn't make X-23 old. I'm glad she was like 10 or 11, because that's good. That's good. You don't need a 16-year-old like what they did for the first X-Men movie when they made everyone like 30. Like, you don't. First of all, X-Men is about kids. That's what it's about. There are always kids in the X-Men, and that's what makes it great. That's where you get a good easy release valve. That's where you get good stories about family. That's where you get a lot of good honesty. Just great stuff happens when you put kids in superhero stuff, and X-Men, and just in general. Kids are usually great as long as they're good actors. And Daphne Keane is a good actor. Patrick Stewart gives an awesome performance. Spoilers. He has a degenerative brain disease. And they use that as what happened at the Westchester incident, i.e., where all the other X-Men are. And what they do in the movie, spoilers, is that Professor X has these seizures. And when he has these seizures, he kind of loses control of his powers a little bit. And what ends up happening is he just... I don't even know, like, how to explain it. I mean, if you've seen the previous X-Men movies, you know that he can freeze people. Like, he can just shut them down just so they stand in place. And it's kind of like that, except it's like freezing them and putting a blender in their brain at the same time. Like, they can't breathe, they can't do anything. They're still awake. They're like in a terrible dream. It's like a terrible dream. And that's cool. I was okay with them not sticking directly to the comic books, with Logan being the one who killed all the X-Men. I understand why they couldn't do that. Well, I understand why they didn't do it exactly how the comic books was, considering how Purple Man is the person who makes Logan kill everyone. But I was bummed that they didn't show it. Even the Professor X version, they didn't show it in the movie. They didn't show him killing everyone. I've heard people say that, well, of course they couldn't do that because I would make it an X-Men movie. And it's like, no, it wouldn't. Don't be stupid. This is obviously still a movie focused on Logan. Although I understand how someone might be a little hesitant with throwing other, considering how the previous X-Men movies have been really focused on Logan for some weird reason. Like, that's normally X-Men isn't focused solely on Logan. He's a supporting character. Well, I mean, he's cool. Hugh Jackman's great, and I see why they did that. But yeah, it would have been great to see Professor X kill all of them rather than just referencing it. I mean, yeah, there's that artistic ability of some things are better when left to the imagination, but that's not true with everything. Some things it's way better to actually see, and that's something I would have loved to see. Not to mention the fact that I'm not the one who this thought originates from, but I read online somewhere that it is kind of ridiculous that they did this whole revamp of the series, of the X series, and then they never used any of those older characters again, like Halle Berry and of course I don't remember their names, but you know, the originals, the ones from the 2000 movie. They just revamp it and then they just throw those characters away. And I get it, like, they're making way for the new continuity with the X-Men Apocalypse and stuff like that, which not worth it. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting off point. So no, yeah, they could have shown the Westchester incident and that would have been fine. I kind of, like, I get why they did what they did with the story, because, I mean, if the whole point of Old Man Logan at the beginning of it, the comic book, is Logan killed all these people, so now he's not killing anyone again, because he, you know, Purple Man brought out the animal in him, and that's the reason why, you know, he doesn't kill anyone. They kind of already did that story where Logan doesn't kill anyone anymore in the previous James Mangold Wolverine that preceded this movie. So I get that. Spoilers. It kind of makes this moment that I'm about to talk about right now a little less powerful. When Professor Xavier dies, I'll say spoilers one last time, just because I know that was a huge one, but there's more coming. When he was killed by X-24, the Logan clone, that, like, when he kills him and then Logan comes upstairs late, the real Logan comes upstairs later, like, checking to see if Charles is dead or not, and then he picks him up and he said, "It's not me." Like, that was, like, it wasn't me. I wasn't the one who killed you. Something like that. That was touching, but it would have been way, way more touching if not for the fact that Charles just said right before that he realizes that Logan is a truly amazing person for not telling, like, truly amazing, just good person. I mean, for not telling Charles what he did to the X-Men and just, you know, that, you know, he killed a whole bunch of people, you know. he was burdening that on his back. Logan was. And, but that scene just would have been a little bit more touching if Logan had been the one who killed everyone. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? Because if he killed everyone, then, like, Charles would have a reason to suspect that maybe Logan is just, like, actually an animal. And maybe he does kill people randomly. Not, like, the way I said it right there, like, that wouldn't make a great story. But you know what I'm getting at. And, okay. We'll talk about the R rating now. I'm pretty sure I just lost my train of thought with the second point of that. But yeah, we'll just keep on trucking, I guess. Back to the R rating of the movie. It does not really earn that. Like, if just putting Blaze through someone's head is reason for an R rating, that's a stupid reason. Because really, there wasn't that much blood. The violence in it wasn't particularly gruesome. It was awesome, what the little of it was, and that was another qualm I have with it. There's not a lot of action in it. But there's a lot of fucks. Like, people say fuck a lot. Professor Xavier says fuck a lot, which I'm sure you can just accredit to old age, but the Professor Xavier that was portrayed to us in the past, like, 6 movies was not someone who seems likely to say fuck as much as they do in this movie. That's, just a little nitpicky things. But, like, it's still a pretty good movie. Like, I mean, I'm not crazy about it. But it's a pretty good movie. I'll give it a 6. Like, yeah, I thought Justice League Dark was better than this movie. That should just say that you should really watch Justice League Dark. But, yeah, I was just really expecting more. It seems like they were really banking on the fact that it was an R-rated movie, the fact that people love Hugh Jackman, and Patrick Stewart. It seems like that's what they were banking on. And, I mean, sure, they're going to cash out on it. That's great. And the intimate moments were there. But I guess I just wanted a little bit more. I wanted to feel a little bit more. I mean, because I cried when Logan, in that scene in the comic book where Logan kills everyone. I cried at the end of that. That was touching and frightening. But you don't really get that in this movie because Xavier is like the Logan in that case, and then he dies, and yeah. Well, I'm kind of rambling now, but so yeah, I'll just leave it with that. It's a good 6. I'll also talk about this real quick. I totally forgot about this. But the fact that so two things. One, freaking awesome how James Mangold kind of touched back on the premonition that the girl has in Wolverine about how Logan dies. The heart in your hand and blood will be everywhere. The heart in his hand in this interpretation being Daphne Keane, i.e. Laura, which was beautiful. That made it a little bit more touching for me. That was cool. And then secondly, last thing, weird thing to end on, but I just kind of forgot about it. The fact that people are hating on the fact that there's 2 different Talibans, like, and how they're played kind of differently. Which one, I'll say they're not played differently. One is just theoretically 50 to 40 years older than the other. I mean, X-Men Apocalypse takes place in the 80s. This takes place in like 2029. So, I mean, of course that Caliban's going to not be quite as flamboyant as the one in the 80s. First of all. And secondly, it's the 80s. So, of course you're going to be flamboyant then. But yeah, both actors, both Steve Merchant and who played him in this most recent Logan, and then also Thomas Lamar Quee, who played him in X-Men Apocalypse, both played him great, true to character, and there shouldn't be any hate involved with that. They were great, solid performances. Both did what they needed to do in their respective roles. So, I mean, yeah, that's it. That was a review of Justice League Dark and Logan, a little snippet of Legion, and this was Looking Good with Nate. Please like, subscribe, share, and post comments below. And have a good day. This was Looking Good with Nate.